What's up, YouTube? So I'm back. As you guys know, I do like to do my own little personal videos in the mix of my YouTube with my readings. So I'm gonna call this Talk to 'em Tuesday. Ah. So today, what I wanted to get into with you guys today's topic of conversation is actually how and why I became a reader. I know a lot of people question, like, when did you start reading cards? But I am going to get into my background story and how it all happened. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's go for a ride. Because I'm driving, okay? So, how it actually started was it was about maybe in June. It started like May, June of this year. So I was in a relationship, y'all. And I was broken up in a relationship, but we still lived under the same roof. So rewind before all that, before the relationship, I'm going to go back in time with you guys. So let's go back in time, back the timeline, back somewhere. Okay, so I used to have dreams all the time when I was little. Dreams, I still have them all the time. I noticed that my dreams, when I had the dreams, they end up coming to pass. So when I have certain dreams, they end up coming to pass, end up happening in the future. I call it prophetic dreams, if that's what you want to say. But I used to have dreams and visions all the time when I was little. And I never really understood them. I used to sleep with stuffed animals all the time, y'all. I would have to sleep with stuffed animals in my bed. And I would sleep with my TV on because I lied to you not, y'all. I used to see things all the time. So even now, I don't like sleeping in the dark because when I'm in the dark, I be seeing stuff, which knowing now they are spirits. So I don't believe it's, the boogeyman, even though I joke around and be like, oh, the boogeyman was in my closet, but it's actually spirits that I see, you guys. And I can feel their presence when they're near me. Like, I can feel them around me all the time. And I feel people's presence and people's spirits all the time too. And when I'm around people, if their spirit is off, my spirit be jumping. It be everywhere, you guys. So, like I said, back in the day, I used to have dreams all the time. I used to see things all the time. And, I didn't really understand what was going on. So I noticed, like, down my life, down my timeline, I noticed whenever I used to be sleep, I call it sleep, in a sleep mode, I would get actually dreams. Like, if I'm not woke and if I'm not paying attention, or if I'm not paying attention to the things happening around me, I would get dreams. Like, and it would wake me up, y'all, because these dreams, they be seeming like nightmares, y'all. So I would get dreams. And it'll be dreams that's cautioning me of what's to happen, and they end up happening. So at this particular time, fast forward, we're going to go fast forward, up to this year, May, June-ish, I was in a relationship that, I decided to walk away due to situations and not being treated right, not being loved right. But I had to understand that this person was put in my life to fulfill the purpose. So they were here to fulfill the purpose, to get me to step into my purpose. If that makes sense, you guys. So I don't look bad on this person. I actually thank him for coming in my life, because if it wasn't for that relationship and going through what I went through, I wouldn't be woke now. And I wouldn't be here with you guys, giving you guys readings and healing you guys. So let's get into it. So when I was in that relationship, we had separated. And I would be up all night, y'all, like up all night. Couldn't sleep, up all night. I had 2 dreams in that relationship. And one of the dreams was about being backstabbed in a dream. He was the one that backstabbed me. And the dream did come into reality. So it did happen. But that relationship, it was so much more stuff deeper in that, you guys. But I don't want to go there. But it was so much more deeper things on both sides of the relationship and why it didn't work out. So when I had that dream, I was just like, okay, Tamika, take it slow, see how it works out. So I'm just up on TikTok, scrolling through my phone. Mind you, I never seen a reading before. Never had one, never seen one, was against it, fully was against it, because I grew up in a church. In the church, I was in a choir, sang in a choir. I was in church every Sunday, every Wednesday, at Bible study. Like, y'all, I grew up in a church. So readings to me was like the devil. Like, I was like, nah, I'm not with that. Not for me. So I was on TikTok and I was just scrolling. And I came across this girl, you guys, and she was a reader. So she was just doing like personal readings for people. And I'm like, hey, what the heck? I'm up. I'll just give it a try. So I got on there and I was just, put my name in, and she put me in line for who was next. So y'all, when she got to me, when I say, this lady read me like a book. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what? So when she basically explained to me what I already knew, and she confirmed back to me like, Tamika, I'm very upset with you because this is something you already know. And I'm like, yes, I did know this. And I was just typing back like, thank you for the confirmation. You're right. I already knew this. I already knew this was happening. I already knew this was coming. Thank you just for the confirmation. So after that, I ended up talking to my brother. My brother was already on his spiritual journey. So he started way before me, So he was just telling me all these things about crystals and readings. And he got his first deck, and he wanted to do a reading on me. And I'm like, This is before I was on TikTok and came across the reading, you guys. So I was like, no, I'm good. That's the devil. I don't want to know if I'm going to die in 10 days or 5 days from now. So, So I was in so much denial, you guys. So then it came down to, like I said, I got the reading. And that's when hit the fan, y'all. Like, it was like fire hit the fan. It was a wrap after that. So after that, me and the guy separated. Like I said, there was altercation back and forth. Hit the fan. Over, said and done. So my brother comes in and he moves in with me, and he has this little deck of cards. So I took his deck and I just started, okay. I was intrigued because it was like, I already knew. I had a feeling in myself, like, okay. So I took his deck and I just started doing my own readings daily. So when I started to do my own readings daily, it used to pull out things in me. Because let me tell you, I am Aquarius and I am very stubborn, y'all. Like, when it comes to telling me something, I'm like, nah, that ain't me. You're wrong. That's not me at all. You got the plot wrong. You got the story wrong. That's not me. So when I started doing my readings on myself daily, like, y'all, there was stuff coming out, like stuff that I try to keep hidden, where I want nobody to see, like pain, trauma, forgiveness, like so much stuff in those cards I would read daily. Read my reading daily, pulling cards. Bah, 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 bah. So then I'm like, okay. So I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. When I started pulling my cards, man, it caused so much healing. So much things to break in me that I didn't even know was in me, that I pushed so far because I didn't want nobody to know or myself to know. So when it started bringing up stuff and I started healing, boom, healing. And there was times I would cry, y'all. Like, I would be on my face crying in tears. Yeah, it was that deep. But I needed that. I needed to go through that. So that's why I said, like, the situation that I was in, it played an important part. He played his part because he was meant to do that. He was meant to do what he did to me, because that's what caused me to walk in my purpose, y'all. Y'all have to understand that you go through certain things with certain people, and that's to cause you to step into your purpose, y'all. If you never went through pain, who are you gonna call on? Like, you gonna think you got it all together. If you haven't went through situations in pain, you would never know to call on God. You would never know to ask questions like, am I on the right path? Is this meant for me? Like, you would never know. So pain is part of growth, you guys. And if you ain't going through nothing, you must be stagnated. And like I said, change is constant. Change is consistent. If you're not changing, if you're still in the same spot, something is wrong. Because we go through changes all the time in life. Your life cycle, this world constantly changes. So change is a part of life, you guys. So let's get back to the story. So after that, I still pulled my cards. I ended up going on YouTube. My best friend, I would actually do readings on my brother, my best friend, and her mom. I actually started on them. They were my first real people that I did readings on. So mind you, even though my best friend is my best friend, we talk every day, there was things that she had in her that she never conversated with me about. So when I started doing her readings, you know, it started to resonate. She was thanking me like, oh my gosh, this is stuff that, you know, I never told you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just a messenger. Don't give me praise. Praise go to God up above, not me. I'm just a messenger. So when I started to do that for my brother and my best friend, I noticed that the readings, they were real. Like, this is real. This is real stuff that people are dealing with in their lives. And I wanted to walk in that and change people's lives. Like, I used to be the one that, you know, people would draw to me and I'll be like, oh, let me care for you. Let me nurture you. But y'all, I had to step away because I could not play the part of God in people's lives. And that's where my downfall was. It was because I was always trying to be people's healer. I was always trying to provide for people. I was always trying to make a way for them. But that was not my place to be in. So when it came to my readings, that's how I feel connected as much as I can be with people to help heal them without it being personal and them being attached to me in some sort of way. So I started buying my own decks. And I used to follow this lady. Well, I still do follow her on YouTube. Her name is D Virgo Tarot, but I forgot the numbers after it. But you guys have to check her out. I put it in the description. But I would watch her because, you know, during the time, it used to get me straight. Like, not only was I self-doubting myself, because like I said, I grew up in a church. So with a church, there's things that you just don't do. They say, you know, that's witchcraft, that's black magic, you know. Sorry, y'all, I need a drink. So I followed her, and like, when I say she was on point, you know, she had this live reading that I tuned into, and the cards that she pulled the same day was the same cards I pulled for myself earlier that day. So I comment on it like, that's ironic. I pulled those same cards today, laugh out loud. So when I say this woman called my name out, my full first and last name, and said, when you gonna start your tarot business? And I looked and I was like, so she was like, all you need is a little backlight. Whenever you get some money, buy your little backlight and, you know, use your phone and record. So that's what I've been doing, y'all, using my phone and my little backlight, and I've been recording. So, you know, after that, it took me like it was a month after that when I finally really decided that I was going to actually do readings for people. So I actually started for real. I would get personals, you know, from my Facebook and stuff, personal readings where I did personals. And a lot of people used to be like, thank you so much, it resonates. They were crying, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just delivering a message from God Don't give me the credit. It comes from up above. I'm just being obedient and standing in my call. So then I got a job. At the time when I was going through my spiritual awakening, I was alone, y'all. I was not working. My son was gone. My brother, he was gone with his, friends. And I was in this house by myself. This big house by myself. And I was alone, and, that was another thing I had to face, was being alone. I never liked being alone. So while I was alone, y'all, I used to cry. I'd be crying like, oh my God, I'm alone. I'd be crying, sitting there, wiping my face, laying on the ground. But it built my strength, so that way I know how to be alone. Because if you can't accept to be alone, you'll be with anybody. You'll be anywhere with anybody, just trying to be in a mix because you don't know how to handle being alone. So I was alone, and that built my spirit up. I would meditate all the time, meditate for answers. I was in prayer all the time, So after all that, I ended up getting a job. So when I went in for the job, the interview was not like a regular interview, y'all. So when I went in for the job, he asked me a question, and it was like, what does value mean to you? And I'm asking you guys this question too. What does value mean to you? And when he asked me that question, y'all, I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, value? Because for me, I'm Aquarius, so we're like intellectual thinkers. We think all the time. Like, it's not like a simple thing. We take things and dissect it and do all this or that and a third. So I'm like, value. What does value mean to me? So I was stuck on that question, for real, y'all. And then he was like, what was the last thing you bought? And I said, it was an inspirational book. And he was like, why did you buy the book? And I said, because I felt like, for me, at the time where I was going through my life spiritually, I needed something to build my spirit up. He said, okay, so that is valuable to you, right? And I said, yeah. So I'm like, okay, what value is, and I told him, I was like, for my answer, me personally, you might think I'm wrong, I said to him, but I was like, what value means to me is something that money can't buy. It's something worth more than money, diamonds, gold. It's something in you. Value is something in you. It's what's installed in yourself. And I was like, when you have value, you're up here. You're at the top. When you have value, or when you put value into yourself. So that's what value meant to me. So, he broke it down and gave me his meaning. And it really touched my soul, y'all. It touched my soul. Like, I left with a piece of that information about value that I carry with me still to this day. So, with that being said, I got hired. I started the job probably about, I want to say maybe a month after that, after my interview. Because I had to go through all the drug tests, fingerprints, background, all that, typical job stuff. So, oh, sorry, y'all. Yes, sorry, y'all. So, when I started the job, I met people there. Beautiful people. I am so thankful that I met these people. First going in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna work this job, save some money up so I can start my business. Whatever money I get, I'm gonna start my business until I start school. So I'm coming in with a whole plan and strategy, y'all. Like, I'm like, yep, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm using the money for. Not knowing that God put me in that job for a reason. Because it was meant for me to touch those people that were in that job at the same time I was in my training class. So we first started off, y'all, I wear my crystals always. But I came in, I had one of my crystal bracelets on, and one of the girls came up to me like, yeah, oh my gosh, you're wearing blah, blah, blah. So So I'm like, yeah, what you know about crystals? So she was like, I know a lot. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh, I do readings too. So when I told her that, you know, everybody in the class was like, oh, you do readings? I want one done. I was like, okay. She was the first one. She was like, yeah, can you read me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Brought my cards the next day. Started doing people's readings. So, the people that I did do readings for, it really touched their lives. I had some of them cry, bust out in tears. You know, they're not at the job right now, but like I said, I am grateful I met them. I was meant to be in their life for a reason and for a season. So I'm glad I was able to deliver that message for them, you guys. And I'm glad I was able to touch their life. So fast forward, keep going. So then there was a girl. You know, I was drawn to her like the first day she came in. So I'm looking, I'm like, Come to find out, she's an Aquarius like me. Gang, gang. But yeah, she's an Aquarius like me. At first, she tested my spirit. She didn't, you know, a lot of people don't do with the readings and stuff. But I was able to provide her with the reading that helped change her life too as well. Also, I have a homie that I met in there. Man, I'm so glad I met him. He touched my spirit too as well. I remember we had to go get COVID tests or whatever done. And I really had a heart-to-heart talk with him, and I really got to open up and tell him my story, you know, to know that there's a background behind me other than me doing my readings and me working at this job. So I was grateful to meet these people because not only did I touch their lives, they touched mine too as well. So back to how I became a reader. So after that, I fought with myself about, you know, my YouTube, getting on YouTube, making it broadcast, because I was so scared and I feared how people would look at me. Because people look at readers and be like, oh, you're a witch, you're doing this, you're practicing witchcraft, blah, blah. Okay. But me personally, I mean, they say witch is not a bad thing, but I personally don't call myself a witch because I don't practice spells. I don't do anything that's against anybody's will. Not at all. I don't believe in that. That's your will. I'm not about to be mixing up conjunctions and woo chanting and all that other stuff, going against your will. That's not me. That's not what I do. So, as you guys can see, my very first video, which is Transformation Time, it actually talks about, you know, my spiritual awakening and things I've experienced. So I started to make my YouTube channel. I started to do, you know, my zodiac readings, all my other pick a crystal readings and all that. I got so many messages after that, like, oh, your reading resonate with me. Thank you so much. How did you know? It's kind of scary that you know all this. And I'm like, look, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. Like, I am going to tell you guys, I still believe in God. Yes, I do. I believe that Jesus, yes, he was put on this earth. But, you know, there's some things in the Bible that I believe is unclear. So, I take my own beliefs and I apply them to my life, y'all. So, I just want to let you guys know this piece of information, though. They say that, you know, reading and all this stuff is bad. But in the Bible, it does say Jesus walked on water. He came to earth as a mere man, was born out of Mary's vajayjay. And the man walked on water. And he turned water into wine. And he draw in all this fish so his men can eat. Hey, if you ask me, that sound like magic to me. I don't know. But, you know, people have their beliefs. I'm not knocking them. Believe what you want to believe. Just don't knock my beliefs, you know. Because I'm not here harming anybody. Only thing I'm here is delivering messages, y'all. I can actually read people without these cards, just so you know. So I don't need the cards to do readings on people. Also, you guys, like I said, I'm just walking in my calling. walking in my purpose. The only thing I want to do is help change people's lives. So that's why I do my readings. That's why I post my zodiac readings, you know, the love readings, because I'm all about bringing clarity to people's lives. And 9 times out of 10, majority of the things that I tell people is automatically what you feel in your heart and what you already know. I'm just confirming a lot of things to you for you to work on, and that's it. But y'all, I became a reader, y'all. I keep my energy pure. You know, I try to stay away from negative energy. I burn my sage daily, welcoming positive energy. I keep my mind clear of all distractions, y'all. And I'm here for y'all. So just know I'm here for y'all. If y'all want personal readings, hit me up. My Facebook is Tamika Brandon. Go ahead and search that up. It's spelled Tamekka. And Brandon, Brandon. So go ahead and search me. Hit me up if you want a personal reading. I'm here for y'all. So I'm sending a lot of light and love your way. Thank you for staying tuned. And this is a Talk to 'em Tuesday. Ow! Later, YouTube.